Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special broadcast of Beach Talk Radio. Ed Ryan here, along with Kim, who's coming right along. But our special guest for the next few minutes is Fort Myers Fire Chief Ron Martin. Chief, thanks so much for coming on. I don't know if he can hear us. Chief, can you hear us?
He looks frozen, maybe.
No, he's okay.
So we're going to try and get you guys as much information as we can. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's running around and trying to get organized and trying to get set. And we'll see if we can get the chief rolling here in a minute.
Chief, can you hear us? He heard us just a minute ago. Well, we're trying to get him on here. I did want to read off what the evacuation sites were. The evacuation sites.
Why don't I read
all
them
right,
while
you read
you
them
figure that
on the
out?
bottom here.
Okay. So we have Dunbar High School. We have Eastleigh High School, Estero Rec Center, Gateway High School, Hertz Arena, Island Coast High School, Oak Hammock Middle School, South Fort Myers High School, Varsity Lakes Middle School, and Veterans Park Rec Center. So that's according to Ed.
Right. There were 10 sites, and there's 5 more that they're going to be talking about. Chief, can you hear us okay now? Chief, can you hear us? We can hear him, but
I
he
can
can't
hear you.
us. All right, so we'll keep going. What's the latest that you have here? Do you have additional sites?
No, I have those same 10, and obviously they're further out in Lee County because that's the safest area. So you're gonna have to check Google Maps, see which one is close to you if you want to head out to a shelter. I believe they're all pet friendly. I think I heard that earlier this morning. But make sure you bring stuff to be comfortable because it's not going to be deluxe accommodations. It's really just going to be, for safety. So they're going to do the best they can to keep everybody comfortable, but you need to bring, a pillow, blanket, all your stuff with you that you're going to need.
Test. 1, 2,
Yes.
3.
We can hear you. He can't hear us. He could hear me a little while ago. We'll keep working on that. What at 11:30 today, there is going to be a press conference with Governor DeSantis, and so we're going to be carrying that live. Also, it is an evacuation of Zone A and Zone B.
Right.
And it's an evacuation of Zone A and Zone B. Governor DeSantis is going to have a press conference at 11:30, and we're going to be carrying that live. And so we really wanted to get the chief in here. He could hear me a little while ago, but we'll keep trying because there's a lot of important information that he has that we want to share. So let's see. Chief, can you hear us now? He still can't hear us. All right.
Call him on there and then just.
All right. Let's see if I can do it that way. Any more information that you can read? And I can actually put him through on the phone.
I would say if you need other information, the United Way has an information hotline at 211, which will be open for any questions concerning evacuations, shelters, or hurricane and flooding concerns. The big thing is if you guys are in an evacuation zone, just go. Just go and err on the side of caution and be safe because you don't know what this flooding is going to be. I remember we went and got old man Gene out of his place down there in Parker Lakes or Parker Commons, and it was crazy how much flooding there was there. And so it's just not worth the risk. It's not about inconvenience because nothing's going to be convenient over the next couple of days. It's really about staying safe, keeping yourself safe. If you have medications, make sure you're full up on them. Call the pharmacy. That's what we're doing now. We had a dog situation this morning, and the vets have been very accommodating. Try to get everything done before they close. But those folks, physicians and vet offices and the pharmacies, that they've got to start closing up soon too, because they need to get their people home and get their people safe. So please do what you can, make the best plans that you can, help out your neighbors, be patient out on the roads. I was just out on the roads a little bit ago, and it is getting busy. You can see people hopping on I-75 seems to be the busiest lane. So, you know, take your time, make sure you have your gas, because that I saw some places where had the red bags on the gas pumps. So people are getting, you know, it's getting low out there. So do what you can.
Still can't hear us. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and get some help on his end. And he's giving it a shot. He's giving it a shot. So if you, I got to turn my microphone on when I'm talking too. It's like I'm an amateur today. If you did not see the press conference this morning, you missed out on the fact that the Lee County Emergency Operations Center was the home of the press conference this morning, and the county manager, Roger Desjardins, let everybody know about the evacuations in Zone A and Zone B. And Zone A is the most important to you guys down there because it's all of Fort Myers Beach, it's all of Sanibel, and so if you're down there now, you know you're in a mandatory evacuation zone. You should head out now while you still have time, while the traffic isn't too bad. And the other thing that's important to note, which is one of the reasons I wanted to talk to the chief about this, was that if you decide to stay in your house and hunker down and you call 911 because something has happened, then you're not going to receive any attention until after the storm.
Right.
So you're on your own if you decide to stay down there. So let me see if we could do it a different way, dear.
It does say that the tolls
Chief,
on
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you on here.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it on the phone. I'm just going to pop you up on the screen, and we'll just we'll make it work this way.
Okay, very good.
We
All
can
right.
hear your emergency stuff going off down there. Must be crazy.
Yeah, it's been a fun 24 hours.
So Chief, the first question I have for you is, give us an update on what's going on the beach. What are you guys doing?
Okay, well, from the fire district standpoint, we are finalizing our storm preparations. Our preparation started, as you could expect, several days ago. As soon as we had some idea that this might be a threat to Southwest Florida and the Western coast. What's made it particularly challenging was the amount of uncertainty due to the different environmental factors that were impacting this storm, which made it difficult for NOAA and the National Weather Center and the National Hurricane Center to, come to an agreement exactly where the threat was going to be. So we have slowly been preparing. The last 48 hours, we have really stepped up our internal preparations, messaging out to the community. Over the weekend, actually a couple of days ago, you probably saw on Facebook, I sent a letter out to the community, reminding them this is a time for calm. We've been here before. Fort Myers Beach has been here before. We're FMB strong for a reason. And that the fire district has been standing watch over this community since 1949. That hasn't changed. The men and women of this organization are here. We're prepared, and we're ready to respond to any threat this storm may pose to our residents, our visitors, and our community. We take great pride in that. So to do that, we have to be prepared. We want the community to be prepared, and we're going to get through this together like we have had all other types of threats, from viruses to storms to economic catastrophe on a national and worldwide level. We'll get through this just like we have gotten through everything we have before. And next weekend, we'll be enjoying the boat races.
So you said, how are you guys staffing the situation, and do they stay there 24/7? How does that work?
So yesterday, I declared a state of emergency for the fire district. for our internal staffing purposes, and authorized all my senior staff with emergency purchasing authorization to essentially do whatever they need to do to mitigate the threat or help us mitigate the threat. That also fully enacted the fire district's hurricane plan, which later today we will be double staffing, bringing up, staffing all of our heavy apparatus, bringing up all of our rescues, bringing in the resources we need that we think we're going to possibly need as this storm rolls through our community and, continues its track up north. So we will be starting today at 12 o'clock. We will bring another additional staff of firefighters in. All of our headquarters staff, our life safety staff are here until the threat is mitigated and we move into a recovery phase. So it's going to be a long 40 hours for the men and women of this great organization, but we're geared up and prepared and ready to go.
So, Chief, one of the things by the way, have you got the latest forecast, if you call it that, on what a kind of storm surge you're expecting?
Well, right now, the latest update that I've received from Lee County Emergency Management, that it has ticked up a little bit from 4 to 7 feet last night to potentially 5 to 10 feet along our coastline. So that's ticked up a little bit. Time of arrival, we should start feeling some tropical force gusts, probably between 12 and 2, with the biggest impact of the storm somewhere between 3 p.m. and midnight tonight is when we're going to really start feeling the impacts of this storm and its current path. So that's the latest updates, along with Lee County has made the decision to expand its mandatory evacuations to not only Zone A, but Zone B as well.
What does that mean for Leonardo Arms?
What does that mean for Leonardo Arms? That means that, the entire beach is under a mandatory evacuation. So those people should be, like everybody else on the beach, should be finalizing their plans and listening to our emergency management professionals and going to higher ground. We always recommend, a public shelter is your last option. This isn't the type of storm where we're anticipating it to be a prolonged event. So just going to simply to a different zone that isn't under a mandatory evacuation, writing it out with a friend, a family member who might live a little bit more inland would suffice. But we definitely want to get people out of the low-lying coastal communities, as well as that Zone B that may be prone to any storm surge of 5 to 10 feet. So we definitely recommend, not only for Leonardo Arms, but everybody who lives on the beach or businesses on the beach, the time to start closing up and hitting the road and going to higher ground is now.
What will that look like with that much water on the beach? So will it come up onto, do you have an idea, or do you have a map of, storm surge at 5 feet, this is what's covered, at 7 feet, this is what's covered? What, can you give us any indication on that?
Well, if we get worst case scenario, we will have water that could potentially 10 feet, could potentially go connect the Gulf and the Back Bay together. Wow. Over a large percentage of our property. That's why our properties on the island, that's why we have stilt homes. That's why our properties are built up, and we don't have a lot of occupancy, especially in our new construction, at base floodplain level. So you could see that, and that's absolute worst case scenario. Best case scenario, 5 feet, we're going to see a lot of, street flooding. We're going to see a lot of flooding in our lower lying areas, street flooding, impassable roadways, things of that nature. So definitely everybody, and I want to reiterate this, everybody needs to heed the advice of our emergency management professionals. Take the mandatory evacuation seriously. Let's take it seriously, and all the energy that we put into our preparation and evacuation, hopefully that's enough positive energy to keep this thing far away from Fort Myers Beach and the Lee County coastline.
Chief, what do you want people to know who decide not to leave? There's always going to be some folks that decide not to leave for whatever reason. If they call 911 during the storm, they have to understand that you're not going to respond until after the storm is over. Is that correct?
Once weather conditions deteriorate to a point that it's no longer safe for our responders, we will be ceasing 911 operations. Now, they can still call 911. They will be triaged. They will be put on a list until sustained winds and weather conditions become safe for me to put fire trucks and ambulances out on the roadways to get to them. We have to preserve our ability to respond to the needs of this community. So once the weather conditions deteriorate to a point that we can no longer respond, and we continue to expect storm surge associated with this, we pull our resources into zone C and zone D so we don't become a victim as well. And once it's safe, we will be coming back to the community to meet those service demand needs of anybody who may have elected to stay. However, I will tell people, if you elect to stay on the island, which is not a good idea, you should be prepared for anywhere up to 72 hours, maybe even longer, depending on the impacts. And we know, we see with this storm, it's a good reminder, as much science and as much data goes in there, this is a force of nature. So this thing, we know how the Charlie wobble went. We thought it was going north, it wobbled east, so these things have a lot of variables that impact the track and where they actually land. So if you elect to stay, realize you may be on your own, without power, without emergency services, without running water. We hope those things aren't going to happen. We hope this is minimal impact, but you have to be prepared to be completely self-sufficient for up to 72 hours and maybe even longer on your own without direct assistance. We will come back as soon as we can, and we will assist you as soon as we can. But if you elect to stay, it's John Wayne time. Sorry the expression, but you'll be on your own for a little bit.
Can you also talk about that, as far as safety goes, that once the storm passes, that, there's still dangers that are out there. So don't go rushing out the door, because there could be down power lines and whatever else do you want to get out there about after the storm?
Well, after the storm, number one, stay home. Okay. Stay home. People tend to want to, storm passes, they want to get in their car and they want to go see the damage, or they want to start walking around and see the damage. Please stay home. Stay off the roads. Let us do our job. There may be roadways to clear. There may be debris to clear. There may be down power lines. There may be all types of hazards. Stay at your home. Listen to the news. Do not go out and start driving the roadways. Number two, do not try to drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. You never know how fast a water can rise, and you never truly know how deep it is, especially in low light environments. Assume any power line is live until we tell you it's not a power line. Don't go up and say, oh, well, my neighbor worked for FPL 20 years ago, and I'll tell you that's a cable line and we can touch it. Don't touch it unless we tell you, or FPL tells you it's safe. We don't even make those decisions sometimes with all of our training. We wait for FPL to tell us it's not a live power line. So if we're not comfortable doing it, nobody in the general public should be doing it. We have to be aware of, the creatures and critters that live on the island. They're going to be impacted. They're going to be disoriented. So you have snakes, you have the indigenous wildlife that you have to be aware of. So don't go rooting around in piles of debris with your bare hands. You could get bit by something that isn't too happy because it's just got its world turned topsy-turvy as well. So there's a lot of hazards that present after the storm. The other one is generators. Whatever you do, that generator needs to be at least 10 feet away from your house. Do not put it in your lanai. Do not put it in your home. Do not run it in your garage. Generators need to be well away from your house. They need to be turned off when you're fueling them. They should ideally be cold when you're fueling them. And you should have one or more carbon monoxide detectors in your home if you're running off of a gasoline powered generator, just to protect you and your family. But definitely, we saw this in a couple instances in Irma where people put them in a communicating breezeway or put them in their garage, and they were filling their homes with carbon monoxide. Please do not do that. Carbon monoxide is known as a silent killer for a reason. Do not run anything that's combustion based in your home for a prolonged period of time. So just use good common sense, and we will get through this together.
So, Chief, by the way, if anyone has any questions, I don't know what's going on with the video, but they can see you for sure, which is probably good. They don't need to see me. They just need to see you. But if anybody has any questions for the Chief, you can type them in. We can see the questions. Chief, is there any chance that the bridge will be closed to any oncoming traffic so that more people can get off the island and come on?
I don't have that information. I can tell you that generally the bridges will close at about 45 mile an hour sustained winds, and those orders will come through the Lee County Emergency Management Agency. Typically, that's the closing point because we just simply don't want somebody to try to cross that bridge and get thrown off of the bridge, or have a high-profile vehicle go into the back of Matanzas Pass Bridge. So that will typically be an order that'll come down through Lee County, and the bridges will be closed potentially for a period of time based on wind speed.
Okay.
So
Okay. And are you starting to see people leave the island? Are they starting to listen to the commands from the county to get off the island?
Ed, last night I sent my staff home, and I stayed here at my office overnight to monitor weather conditions and monitor what the community was doing, and to be here to answer any questions anybody might have. I walked down through Times Square. I drove the island. I was out, on the beach, and once again, Fort Myers Beach is demonstrating that it's taken this threat seriously, and they are listening, and they're heeding the advice. And I'm incredibly proud of the community for doing what they do. I know there's a few people who've been through many, many of these storms who are, I'm going to ride it out. Even though I don't agree with that, that's their choice, and they understand the potential risk that they're facing. So they're making informed decisions as adults. But the majority of the community, we've received a lot of phone calls. They're taking this threat seriously, and an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So I'm very proud of the response that I'm seeing so far out here in the community.
And lastly, you had a meeting with the town manager a little while ago. Anything from that meeting that you can share that maybe they didn't pass along during their emergency meeting yesterday, or is it routine stuff?
I've been in communications with the town manager routinely, and we've been communicating, as well as our West District Commander Tim Layler. We've been communicating frequently, and no, there's nothing particular I would share from those meetings, other than our partners with the town of Fort Myers Beach have been doing a phenomenal job. They're taking it seriously. They're working cooperatively with us, along with Lee County Sheriffs, who are always phenomenal. Captain Layler is an absolute wonderful partner. We enjoy working with him and his team very well, and the beach is well protected, and we're well prepared.
All right, Chief. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it. If there's anything else you need to get out, just let us know, and we'll talk to you later on.
Okay, please continue to monitor our Facebook and Twitter for any pertinent updates. Okay, guys?
Thanks a lot, Chief.
Thank you. Stay safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right. I am guessing that our video is not on, so we will check back in with you guys later, and we will have the governor at 11:30. He's got a press conference.
Well, he's not going to be here with us.
No, he's not going to be in our room here, but we will be broadcasting his press conference live. And if you live in Zone A or Zone B, it's time for you to move inland more and stay away from the storm surge.
Yeah, and please check on your neighbors, especially if you have, older folks that have some difficulty. Please, check on them, make sure they're safe, help them out if they need it. And everybody stay safe.
All right.